Call the meeting. 5:02. Let's stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, 3.0 is to approve the meeting agenda.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Agenda's approved.
Yes.
All right, 4.0 are acknowledgements and recognitions, and I would just like to recognize Ms. Tamoy Gray, who is our new student school board member for 2026. Welcome, Tamoy. Super glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for doing this.
And she'll be giving her first report here in a minute. We're glad that you stepped up and are going to be part of our team here. Welcome. All right, 5.0 are a recognition of visitors and community comments. Community comments is an opportunity for the public to address the board on an item included in the agenda in accordance with the guidelines printed at the end of the agenda. We don't have any community comments tonight, so I'll just welcome all of our visitors. For those of you here in the room, thanks for being here. And everybody on Zoom, thanks for tuning in as well. Appreciate it. All right, 6.0 are reports. 6.1 is the principal's report, and we have Mr. Belangi here. Hello.
Oh, good evening.
Still got his hair.
So-
You haven't pulled it out yet?
Well, there's a little bit of a fundraiser for the junior class going on right now that if they raise enough money, they get to shave my head.
You'll keep the beard?
Yes, the beard, I've been told I can't, that's not up for shaving off, but the head, yes.
I look like Damien.
True that.
He's a trendsetter.
Yeah, Damien can tell us, what bet he lost later.
All right, well, good evening, everybody. My report for you all is that in Sawtooth, we continue to recognize our Sawtooth students for their junior Vikings values. We've recognized over 130 Sawtooth students so far this year. And this past month, we've been focusing on the practice of Dabizin Dizuin, humility. That's, we talked to them about how that means we're all important parts of something bigger than just ourselves. And so that's been our focus this past month. And tomorrow in Sawtooth, we get to celebrate a fundraiser that they just completed for Make-A-Wish. They set a goal of raising $500, and Sawtooth came through and they raised over $1,400 in just 1 week of raising money for Make-A-Wish Foundation. So they get to wear their pajamas tomorrow, and we're going to turn the ACA into a movie theater and watch a movie to take them into spring break. So really excited about that. And then in the middle school and high school, the busyness there is course registration. Ms. Katovich just is finishing up this week with 8th graders. Past few weeks, she's been working with our freshmen, sophomores, and juniors to get their courses requested for next school year. And so when we come back from spring break, we'll get to work making the schedule. Spring sports are underway. Be careful if you're in the hallway. The track team is practicing.
After school, yeah.
And they're sprinting through the hallways. And then tomorrow is really exciting because we start talking with seniors about details for graduation coming up in a couple months. So that's always fun to talk to them about who they want to be speakers at the commencement ceremony, those types of things. And the other kind of big news in the school is those MCA tests are starting in a few weeks, 3rd through all the way on up through high school, different grades and different subjects. Finish up our conferences on Tuesday, so we're done with those for the year. And then just a reminder that everyone's on a short spring break next week, Monday through Wednesday. Again.
Great. Any questions?
We saw that our basketball team.
Yes, somebody's going to talk about that, but yes, I won't steal her thunder, but yes, absolutely. All right.
All right, thank you. Okay, 6.2 is our student board rep report. So we have Tamoy Gray with us. Again, this is Tamoy's first meeting of the year and we welcome her. So we'll go ahead and hand it over to you.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. So there have been a few things happening this month. So the basketball team made it to their first playoff game where they beat McGregor 62-60. And they definitely felt the support from community members and the packed student section, which showed up to cheer them on. In their second game, they unfortunately lost to Cherry, but the team had a strong season overall, finishing with a 17-9 record. And then spring sports officially begun, and then track, baseball, and softball all started practices last week. And then the track team has its first indoor meet this Friday in Superior. And after 2 weeks of practice, I think they're ready to kick off their season. And the Knowledge Bowl team also competed in their semifinal meet, and they finished third and will be heading to the state competition. And then this month, the seniors, freshmen, and eighth graders all had their retreats focused on wisdom, respect, and honesty. And then I think, or not I think, but based on what other people told me, they said that the retreat leaders created a comfortable environment where they felt safe and to be open and vulnerable. And then the activities were tailored towards student interests, so like popular music and shows, which encouraged people to engage. And then the freshmen talked about what respect means to them and why. And then seniors reflected on their high school experience and getting excited for their future. Overall, it was a meaningful experience for participants and student leaders. The fifth graders also went on their Wolf Ridge trip, which was a fun experience for them. And as Belanji mentioned, the Make-A-Wish Minnesota, where the Sawtooth students collected coins and they almost tripled their goal, which is $500. And then looking ahead, the middle school students have their St. Patrick's Day themed dance coming up this Saturday. And they'll be able to like invite people from other schools and just enjoy time with their classmates. In addition, the National Honor Society is hosting its Powder Puff and Power Puff games today to raise donations for the local food shelf. And students and community members are encouraged to attend, support teams, and bring canned goods. Finally, the junior class has been working hard to fundraise for prom, and Mr. Belanji joined in supporting their efforts, and if they reach their fundraising goal, he has agreed to shave his head as an incentive. And donation jars have been placed in local businesses, so if you come across one, consider contributing to help make prom and other dances a memorable experience. And then speaking of prom, the theme was announced and it's Rio de Janeiro. And everybody's excited to see what the junior class comes up with. And that's all I have for you guys.
That's a lot.
Very
Holy cow.
comprehensive.
So with the big fundraising effort here we've been talking about, are you guys hoping to get something in particular with that, or?
Well, I don't think it's something particular. I think it's just to make prom better than it has been. So like it can be something that we build on as a school as opposed to like just doing the bare minimum.
One other cool, exciting thing about basketball, it was announced that our boys were the section
Academic champ.
academics. Yeah,
That's what I was.
Yes.
looking at.
Yeah. And that was just announced like yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
So
Somebody to be proud of for sure.
super proud. Yeah.
Awesome, cool. Any other questions?
Oh, thank you, Tamori.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you are welcome to go whenever you like, or you're welcome to stay, whatever your schedule allows and whatever, so.
What time are the things tonight you said there?
It starts at 6,
Okay.
but I'm an
In the
honest.
gym or outside?
It's in the gym, yeah. So we're gonna set up for that after the practices.
Got it.
Yeah. But thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here tomorrow.
Okay, and 5.3 is the superintendent's report.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. If you're a parent in the district, you just got an email from me at 4:00, sharing the bad news that we are out of snow days. So the snow day that we had on Friday was our fourth, and we have 4 built in. So the letter explains to our parents that if we have to cancel school between now and the end of the year, we pretty much have to do an e-learning day or a distance learning day. Because
Is that at all levels?
it's on all levels.
Is it the same required days at all levels?
The minimum day requirement is the same and the hours are different. So because before it was 165, that's what we had, and that is the state minimum. So except for preschool actually doesn't have that requirement, of course. So the letter explains the plan and that we're being proactive about this. We did this back in 22, 23, once or twice. It'll look a little bit different because we've changed things at the elementary school, but our teachers have been working together all week, making their plan, getting ready, and getting all the pieces to the puzzle ready to roll. So it's not the news we want to share, but it's where we are. We can't add on days with construction starting right at the end of the year. So
When's the e-learning happen during
During the actual snow?
during the snow day.
during the snow day? Oh, I get it.
So but it's
Otherwise,
like
the makeup day in the past, we've done, like,
Yeah.
you have to make it up on a,
Right.
PD day or at the
Sunday.
end.
like, there's not student contact.
So during the snow day, like high school kids will check in their 4 classes on a Google Meet with their teacher, get their work and then work. Our elementary teachers will send home pre-done packets and some explanations of what to do.
So has this ever happened with a snow day where it wasn't pre-planned?
A couple of years ago.
Couple years ago.
Where the day, no school, but you gotta log on?
Yep, distance learning, yeah. I think we did it a couple times in 22, 23.
Yeah, in April, the last couple of years has been kind of.
Been brutal. Yeah,
We've had snow days in May before too. They're not.
For sure.
but They definitely do happen. So
for sure. That's why we felt like we gotta be ready
you
because
gotta be on.
this could happen. So, yeah, that's the first announcement. The second announcement is we continue to tighten in with Jason and Damian on summer use of our building and just some updates. We've determined that the main gym is just gonna be off limits all summer due to safety issues and risk and having to redo the floors. The elementary gym, we closed for the first maybe half or more of summer as they cut in the new storage areas and work on the new teachers staff work area. So that's changed our plan a little bit. We're gonna be storing the elementary media center stuff in a preschool classroom so that elementary gym can be ready for August 17th. If say the main gym isn't for volleyball start. So we're just really trying to make sure we're ready for all of those decisions. And then last but not least, the board knows this, but more PR and announcements and invitations will be going out in the month ahead. But Friday, May 22nd at 2 p.m., we're having our groundbreaking ceremony. And we'll have some distinguished guests, hopefully, that will join us and share a few comments about the excitement. And then hopefully a whole bunch of people show up. It'll be a fun way to kick off the construction process. So mark your calendars, May 22nd, 2 o'clock. Dan gets to say a comment or two. I'll definitely be emceeing. And
Surprised you remembered that was my birthday to schedule it for that.
well, maybe we'll honor your twins' birthday that day too.
Our birthday cake or just cake.
Candle in it.
There you go. That's all I got.
Okay, fantastic. Any questions? All right, thank you so much.
Yep.
All right, moving on to 7.0, our consent agenda. If there's anything that needs to be pulled for further discussion, let me know. Otherwise, we just need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Consent agenda is adopted. Okay, 8.0 are discussion and action items. 8.1 is to accept the expenditure and revenue report for February of 2026. We've got that in the packet. Business manager Oberg is also here with us. Hello.
Hi. I guess the one thing to point out on the February expense revenue report would be the activity in the construction and debt service line items. Because of the referendum and the bonds being sold, there was debt being paid off as well as the referendum bond funds. So you'll see those in the construction line item, the additional 7 million, and then the bonds in the debt service that kind of went in and went out. So there's activity there. That wasn't in the original budget, so I will be making a budget revision, but it's gonna only probably have those things. I don't know if there'll be any other adjustments.
Contracts or anything?
Right, well, I'll look at it and just see, there might be some little variations, but I'll bring that to your attention at that point. So hopefully, I guess the work session, I would have something to look at, and then next in April. So that's the only thing that I wanted to draw your attention to, that they look kind of, the percentages are way off from our operating, because we're at 66% of the year. And those are at like 1,200.
Right. I have a question, Ms. Org.
Yes,
We're about to make an adoption of a very expensive curriculum.
yes.
And I know we have assigned funds for curriculum. We also have current year capital. Where would that show up on this report if it was pulled out of like assigned funds?
If it's pulled out of assigned funds, it'll just lay regularly in the expenditure.
As a capital expense?
Not necessarily, so,
One,
right, just fund one.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's more about kind of moving those assigned funds
Sure.
back into the bucket, so that into the fund one bucket,
And you'll see the expense.
right?
Yeah, okay.
So the expense would be laid right into the budget.
Got it.
Any other questions? Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept the expense and revenue report as presented.
I'll second.
any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. All right, 8.2 is a construction update. And we've got Jason and Damian from ICS here on the line via Zoom. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Trying to see. Can you share or no?
Yep, I can share my screen.
Oh, okay.
Oh, actually it says disable share.
That's funny here. Okay, do you see the share button on the bottom and that little arrow and you click it? Does it give you the option to say multiple shares?
What it says on my screen is host disabled attendee sheet screen sharing.
I can just share. It'll be
Okay.
easier. I can't figure, it's changed all of a sudden in Zoom. Okay, let me open it. Board members have it in their packet as well, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay.
You good, Chris?
Yeah, can you see it?
Yep, I can see it just fine.
All right, rock and roll.
So today we will be reviewing the construction budget, the schedule, project updates, and also highlights from the recent user group meetings.
Okay, next slide.
Yep. As a summary to our value engineering exercise, our last board meeting approved value engineering with a value of $954,560. We do have pending value engineering with a approximate value of $300,000. The pending value engineering is generally related to site work, and it has a limited impact on the schedule for 2026. Those pending items include soil corrections, the bus loop asphalt, and also some playground modifications, and also the concrete outside of the maintenance area. So those are the items we are still evaluating for value engineering. We do anticipate a surplus when this exercise is complete of approximately $131,000.
Super hard to see that one.
Yeah.
I'll try to make this format this a bit different next time. I think it's getting a bit bigger than the screen allows. The cost to date is $2,659,838. And I have been validating this with Teresa to make sure that we are both tracking the same costs here with any kind of miscellaneous billings. The budget for the project does reflect the value engineering items on the previous slide for each one of the work scopes, along with the value engineering that is still under review. And at the bottom here, you see that we do have a anticipated surplus. Are there any questions regarding the budget? Regarding the schedule, so the next POC meeting will be April 14th. Topics for that meeting will include the Referendum 2 schematic design submission. That will be a narrative of the Referendum 2, along with a budget and preliminary plans. Those will be provided to define the scope of work for the project. We will review that with the POC and also the board for approval. At that next POC meeting, we will also review the track and turf, and specifically our selection criteria. What features are important to the group here. We have a board meeting on April 16th, and then our third and final user group meetings are April 20th. The second phase of the design process for Referendum 2, which is called Design Development, that will be submitted on May 21st for approval. We will have a groundbreaking ceremony on May 22nd, which Chris mentioned earlier in the meeting here. And our last day of school, pending no snow days, May 27th. We do anticipate having construction mobilization on site on May 1st with site preparation and relocating some utilities and the cooler in the back. So really kind of getting things set up and ready to go through the month of May, with major construction starting on June 1st. The Referendum 2 contract drawing submission will be to you, Chris, and the group here on July 16th. So that will be the drawing set that we will be preparing for bidding. And the bidding will begin in August. Are there any questions about the upcoming schedule? Regarding project updates, so for Referendum 1, the construction documents are under review with the state for the, they call it a plan review and permit process. We have received comments from the reviewers, and the design team is addressing the questions. That dialogue takes place 2 or 3 times throughout the review process. So I would say we're a third of the way through that. We have been receiving samples and submittals from the contractors. So that process is also under review. And we are coordinating the schedule with the contractors. Regarding referendum 2, we did complete the user group meetings last week on March 12th. And I am also soliciting samples for the turf and the track. So I do anticipate having a real good discussion at the next POC meeting for those items. Highlights from the user group meeting. So the first user group was related to athletics. The athletics group did select a layout for the track. There were 5 layouts provided, and this one on the screen here was preferred. This features a 720 seat capacity bleachers, storage for athletic equipment and also maintenance equipment, concessions, bathrooms, soccer, football, softball, long jump, pole vault, and then the track and turf.
High jump.
Okay, is it called high jump instead of long jump? Maybe they're
They're two different things.
One's
okay.
high, one's long. I see it.
And then one is a pole.
I'll learn more about that as.
The throwing areas that's not on the list, they're not supposed to be within the track anyways. I think they're a different spot.
Yeah, they're in a different spot.
Making sure that they're
Yeah. That's
not forgotten on the list.
No.
Forget them.
My son will never talk to me again if I.
They're over by the propane tanks.
Still things at the propane tank.
Right. Okay.
Regarding the outdoor learning spaces, so landscape renderings were provided for the Sawtooth Garden and also the entrance. And the third area that we'll be incorporating into the project is the bridge to the trails. The major features of the outdoor learning spaces include the amphitheater style seating, multi-function spaces, so multiple different classes or groups could be out in these areas at the same time, and then also the garden itself. Any questions about the outdoor learning areas?
I think at the next user group meeting, we'll see this a little more refined, right?
We certainly will, and this packet will be put together with our SD submission, our schematic design submission, Chris, so it can be circulated amongst the group at that time as well.
Okay.
And our last area for the referendum 2 was the theater. So we did have a theater consultant from Minneapolis on site during the user group meetings, and they were very valuable input and help for these discussions. The goals for the theater include user-friendly lighting, so providing a lighting system that can be modified by the students. And the discussion was a motorized light bar, so the lighting that is currently stationary in the ceiling would be able to drop down for students to be able to modify as needed. We also talked about flexible seating. So new chair samples are being procured for further review. And then minor finish updates like painting the walls and flooring. And then minor updates to the support spaces adjacent to the theater.
One of the questions that we've been talking about in that user group is all of those seats in the lobby are just extras from the theater. So if we change out the seating, we have an opportunity to change out that seating. And so it's a question of, well, what should go there then? Because the space gets used by cheerleaders and classes when they go down there, and then intermissions in a show, and it gets used for a lot of different functions, plus just kids going down and working with a para during the day. So we've been brainstorming that. So if you have any brilliant ideas, we've had lots of talk about benches for the people waiting for the shows and, you know, places to just sit and wait. Maybe some high tops that might help for during intermissions. A variety of things, but it's not something we ever really kicked around as a board. But when we decided to change out the seats, then we got rid of those.
Right. Sure.
So, interesting thing to think about.
And that's our update for construction. Are there any questions?
Do we get to see the 5 options that were shown for the track?
I don't honestly
Yeah.
have the other 4, but I can get those over to Chris.
Yeah.
I can tell you what the main attributes were. So the main discussions were the orientation of that pole vault being east and west and not north and south. And also the same with the long jump, having those oriented in this fashion here was a little bit safer and provided opportunity to do this activity with different weather and wind. The other item that was really discussed was the width of the track itself. So having a wider radius was preferred. It was a bit easier for the runners to make the corners. And then we do have the constraints here, which are the bus loop itself and then the creek in the back. So those kind of are pinching us into this particular area.
Yeah, those are the big variables. And then just where do you put the pieces? It was really interesting for me, not being a track guy, to listen to our 2 track coaches, like have strong opinions about what's right and what's wrong. But I was grateful they were there and able to chime in. And they'll be doing the same conversation with the throwing coach in regards to being able to throw to the west or throw to the east. So who would have known that that is such a big variable? But it makes sense if you're throwing a discus that you don't want to throw into the wind if you don't have to. So, yeah. Any other questions for Damien or?
Becomes a boomerang then.
Yeah, right.
Another, just a comment, I still have concerns that we cut the solar tubes and the skylights, and I'd love to see them find a way back into the budget. I'd rather cut other things out, in my opinion.
We still have skylights. We still have skylights. It was just, you know, we reduced the skylights by 2, but it's the solar tubes that were the big cut.
Well, and those are, we have quite a few classrooms that don't have any windows, so that seems
right
important.
Yep.
Well, we are trying to work toward a surplus, so there may be some opportunity.
So I'll keep saying it in hopes that it makes its way back in.
We'll do our best.
All right. Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for chiming in tonight, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
All right. So 8.3 is to approve the 2025 to 2027 CCEA master agreement. It's our collective bargaining agreement with the teachers union. Got that here in the packet, a red line and the final. If there's anything you want to lead us in on that.
I'll just share the bullet point facts. I mean, in your packet is the red line edition. You can see what was changed in the contract if you want to read all 40 some pages of it. The settlement resulted in a 2.5% increase in both year 1 and year 2 to salaries, along with a significant increase to health insurance. The benefit in health insurance covers 100% of the premium costs for the family and the single policies at the district standard plan. That's the number that reflects. Total cost increase in year one is almost 7.4% and 3.5% in year two. And then the childcare leave language was moved to the back of the contract as an MOU. The group felt that it's kind of a moving target still with being a brand new program, and they wanted it in an MOU format for this 2-year contract. So we will likely need to be reducing teaching positions this coming year and possibly the next year in order to pay for this. We'll see how numbers flush out. We can never predict the revenue exactly. There's no crystal ball for that. So we'll see. But we will likely, in order to get balanced eventually, unless we get significant increases in revenue, we'll need to reduce on expenditures.
So is it common that school districts cover 100% of the premium for insurance?
It's all over the map. I don't have any solid.
My employer does not. So I find that unique, but that's just my employer. So.
And it's a minor clarification, but maybe important is in the contract, it's not that we cover 100% of the premium, it's a dollar amount. Because.
But it's 100% of this year's premium,
It
that
does.
might change.
It could, and if the
So next year
premium,
won't be 100%.
if the premium changes, then, we're not, if it went way up, it would be subject to us renegotiating the number. Because if it was in the language that it was 100%, then we would just have to track that. So that's good, but it's.
I mean, I'll be frank, I find that to be very generous. That's good. But it's, the fact remains it's generous, so good for us.
For sure.
I guess I'd like to talk about the process a little bit, if I could. I don't know if you need a motion first. Before we have discussion, but I think that the process for me was very frustrating. And I think that as a board over the last several years that I've been involved here, and even before that, I think we saw this school district in bad financial condition before, and the board worked very difficult, through a lot of difficult times to get fund balance back up, so that the school was on solid ground. And
Well, the headlines support that too. It isn't just the past, it's the current conditions
Right.
for school districts that.
And so I think there's a sort of a disregard by the teachers union about fund balance. It was called a slush fund, it was called a number of other things. And I want to be absolutely clear, and I was clear in negotiations, but that's good policy. It's good fiscal policy to have that fund balance. And if we can't pay our bills, we're not dipping into the fund balance and reducing that. We'll have to find different ways to cut. I was frustrated by a process where most of the time we're on the same team. I've watched our administration work very hard with to build leadership teams, build better curriculum, provide professional opportunities. I've seen the board support that in a lot of ways, and yet we were in the position and sometimes even told that we needed to find, we weren't supportive of enough teachers. I think we heard a lot of hardship as a result of insurance that's happening, which is unfortunately happening all over the country. And I think we tried to address that. We did address that. But I think what we ended up with, which the teachers were very happy about, I'm not as happy about it. I'm not encouraging anybody to vote against it, because I think we have to kind of move ahead and try to rebuild relationships. But I think in the future, I'd like to see if there's a way that we can approach this more as the partners we are all the time, instead of adversarial kind of relationship that I think is encouraged by Education Minnesota. And I'm, we're not millionaires that we're hoarding the money and making money ourselves. We have a certain amount of budget we have to live in. We want to pay people as much as we can, but with this particular contract, we will probably be in the position of having to lay people on. And as a school board member, I'm bothered by that, because I feel like the people that are hurt by that are not teachers that have been here for a long time, but they're the kids who will have larger class sizes and maybe less opportunities. So I'm hopeful that in the future we can think about this in a different way. And I hope some teachers are listening to me say this, because I tried to say this during the negotiations. And I feel really strongly that this process, the way we go after it, is sort of broken. And I'm frustrated with it. But anyway, that's my comments on it. I will be voting for this, but I'm not particularly enthusiastic about that.
I don't really know that this is the best place to publicly say that, though.
So I feel.
The best way to smooth and improve relations, though.
Any other questions, comments? We have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, 8.4 is to approve 1.0 FTE school psychologist position.
Can I tee this one up,
Please.
Mr. Chair? So I have written in my weekly memo to the board a couple of times about an opportunity that presented itself. And so I want to share with the public, anyone listening, what this ask is. The ask is to add a 1.0 school psychologist position, post it, have it up, and then hopefully fill it with a qualified school psychologist candidate. We have a candidate who reached out to me proactively to say, hey, I'm in school to be a school psychologist. I'm going to be doing my clinical year next year. I would love to work in Cook County. How does that work? That opened a negotiation with me and the NLC, our Northland Learning Center, because currently our school psych services come from psychs employed by the NLC. That negotiation started probably back in December when she came and introduced herself to me. In the meantime, we got a resignation from an employee who was just recently added this fall, and that was a licensed school nurse. And why this matters is we have a $40,000 a year revenue stream that was added 3 years ago. I think it's called Student Support Personnel Aid or something like that. Is that right? I think. And it was post-COVID, and you could not use it to supplant somebody you were already paying. You had to add a position, a support aid, a support personnel person, either as a licensed counselor, a licensed nurse, a licensed therapist, or a school psychologist. So we couldn't use that money for, I think, a year or maybe 2 years. Then we got a nurse. We're able to use that. The nurse quit. Now we have no way to tap that revenue stream. So we get the money and then we just have to send it right back. So this money could be used for this, because this would be a new position that qualifies all of that. So between that $40,000 a year and then not paying the NLC for a 0.5 school psychologist, we have a budget neutral position to add for Cook County schools. The conversation has included the possibility, I haven't made any promises, about possibly contracting out some of that person's time to GES, who needs some assessment help when they're doing, a lot of what school psychs do is special ed evaluations. They do a lot of that work. That's kind of the big core. But then they're also very equipped to do interventions with kids, small groups, those kinds of things, and then run due processes in the school. So ask is to add the position for next year. I think precedent is that I don't add positions without board approval if it's a new position, which is different than replacing someone that just left. So this would be an add for the coming year ahead, and then go forward.
And that revenue, that 40,000, is that something that we'll expect to continue to receive, or is that just like a one-time sort of deal?
The legislature made it permanent, but they can always undo, right? So, you know, as they look at their budgets, especially in the next biennium, could that money go away? Yes, but right now it's there.
Okay, sure.
And do you think that second nurse, like the second nurse position that we had, is that not necessary?
It was very helpful.
Yeah.
You know, if we have a qualified good nurse, 1.0 is sufficient, I think. But they might argue with me on that. I mean.
So just for the clarifying for anybody that's watching, because we
Yeah.
just in our last kind of bullet point said, hey, we're making a choice that
Reductions, yeah.
equals potential reductions.
Yep.
The $40,000 pays for all or a portion of this
A portion.
position.
Mhm.
And so it is, we're consciously making the choice to add
Correct.
an expense to the budget.
Well, but
But for.
We're already expending that. We're already expending that 40,000
Mhm.
for the nurse who just quit. We were already expending that. And then the money that we're expending to the NLC for the other half, if that makes sense. So it's money we're already expending. We're just spending it in a different way.
Because we're paying NLC for these services right
Correct.
now, which we will no longer need.
Correct.
Because
Right.
we would have our own
That's
in-house,
just $80,000?
so it would just be a neutral.
Well, it's hard to nail it down.
I
No,
was gonna say, that's
no.
kinda
Most teachers,
economical for a position.
most teachers are about $100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Is it a full-time position?
it would be. Thus the possibly contracting out time.
Sure.
To any one of the 3 charter schools in town, in the county. We have done that with OTs and TTs in the past. Contracted them out to the charter schools for special ed services. That's usually what it is.
And it would be a significant asset to have this position. So I'm bringing it up just for the sake of
Yeah,
somebody watching would be like, wait, this is possibly hypocritical, but we value it and we're.
I think
appropriate to accommodate it.
the residual benefits that a teacher could really kind of understand would be the coordination of special ed services, the ability to come in and do a functional behavioral assessment on a student who's having really terrible behaviors in a class, you know, and to have them right here on site every day to be able to see that in the hallway, in the lunchroom, in the classroom. I mean, there's so many intangible things that are like huge benefits of a school psychologist. That it's worth just kind of seeing at that whole big picture.
Well, plus it's different revenue streams.
Right.
you can't use that $40,000
Anywhere else.
Yeah.
Can't use it for a teacher.
I absolutely see the value in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
There, and
It's a great
it's
solution.
a great choice. I just feel like there's some, if someone's watching, there's some
Yeah.
explanation to make sure we've covered.
And I've been very, very transparent with the NLC board. We had a very lengthy conversation last week. Because if this person then leaves 2 years from now or 3 years from now, then I'm gonna go back to the NLC and say, we need to purchase your school psych services again. And I didn't want that to be like a shady deal. It's like, that's just the reality of the ebb and flow of staffing in any school district. That's why we're part of a co-op,
But what an asset when you can have these things
For
in-house. It's,
for sure.
we appreciate the services that we get, but in-house is just so superior.
So we're approving the position, and will there be a hiring process?
Then the job will be posted, then we'll do the interviews, we'll do all the normal protocols. It'll probably take 3-4 weeks to get that hire buttoned up, but we will also then need to tap the NLC for supervision of her clinical year. So that's a requirement for a first year school setting.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 8.5 is to accept donations for March of 2026. We have the resolution here in the packet. Again, a number of donations.
Wow.
Big donations. I make a motion to accept this with extreme gratitude to the donors.
I'll second, since you're looking at me. I'm pro free money.
Discussion.
All of these things are wonderful. I just want to say that the Youth Frontier retreats, they're very expensive. We do them every year because of the generosity of this family, and it's amazing. It's truly amazing.
Yeah.
Do we send thank yous? Do we do?
We will, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure Anna Sandstrom has that connection.
I sure hope we get. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a amazing donation for sure.
And the students really value it.
They do.
Like my freshman, he's like, what do we have to do? But then afterwards, he's like, that was kind of cool, Mom.
Totally.
Yeah, I've been helping I've seen the Youth Frontiers in my school for now about 25 years, and they have never had a bad day. They knock it out of the park every single time. They're amazing.
It's awesome. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, 9.0 are personnel items. 9.1 is the slate of new hires, resignations, leaves of absence here.
The leave of absence at the end just changed. It's no longer a sabbatical. So the board, you approved a sabbatical. The dynamics in this employee's life have changed. So now it's just an extended leave of absence. And then if you come to school during the day, you'll see a new custodian, Kathy, starting on Monday. And she will have a second grade son or daughter, I can't remember. Son, starting next week. So we're excited for Cassie to join the team.
Awesome.
I've always been very excited for that new kid.
All fired up.
Yeah, it sounds that.
Nice. All right.
Need a motion to accept those.
Please.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. All right, we're adjourned, 5:55.